If you have ever wondered whether your story idea is too specific or too niche to work as a children's book, then this video is for you. Today we are talking about niche children's books, what they are, why they matter, and why your unique story may be exactly what the world needs. Hi there, I'm Eevi, an award-winning children's author and ghostwriter over on eevijones.com and the creator of Children's Book University. I create videos specifically for children's authors, so if that's you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. What are niche children's books? Niche children's books are stories written for a specific, often smaller audience. They go deep instead of broad. Instead of trying to appeal to every child, they speak directly to a child with a specific interest, identity, challenge, or experience. That could be a child who is gluten intolerant, a child learning about their cultural heritage, a child obsessed with vacuums, birds, or bubble tea. Mainstream books aim for the masses. Niche books, on the other hand, make space for the often overlooked. And that right there is where its powers lie. It's because niche books apply to only a very small and specific group of people, we are essentially provided with a huge, often completely overlooked advantage. Something I have been teaching within Children's Book University for years, and that is what I call an automatically built-in audience. What do I mean? A built-in audience is made up of people who are actively looking for help with a very specific topic, whether that's potty anxiety, sensory challenges, foster care, or gluten-free living. Groups that are interested in these topics and are affected by these topics will quite literally lighten up when they find a book that finally speaks to their world. And that in turn provides us with 4 very important and unique opportunities. Opportunity 1 is lower competition. Here we have lower competition because fewer people are writing books about these very specific topics. While the mainstream categories may be flooded with books about dinosaurs, princesses, or trucks, a book about a child living with celiac disease or a love for bubble tea will naturally stand out in its own corner of the market. We're not trying to win over everyone. We are simply trying to connect with the right readers, and that makes all the difference. Opportunity 2 is highly targeted marketing opportunities. Because our audience is so specific, our marketing becomes much more focused and efficient. We don't have to try to appeal to the entire world. Instead, we can connect directly with support groups, social media pages, community newsletters, nonprofits, specialty blogs, local chapters, school counselors, therapists, or even doctors who serve exactly the type of readers our book was made for. Our efforts go so much further, and we can speak in a way that truly resonates. Opportunity 3 is deep reader loyalty. When our book speaks directly to someone's experience, when it names something they have felt but haven't seen reflected anywhere else, it creates an emotional bond that runs deep. Readers become loyal fans not just of our book, but of us as the author who gets it. Parents will buy our book for other families. Teachers will recommend it to colleagues. Therapists will keep a copy in their office. That kind of reader loyalty is rare and incredibly powerful. And opportunity 4 is the chance to make a real difference. Niche books often meet a very real, very human need. They offer comfort, clarity, identity, empathy, or simply the joy of being seen. To those readers, we are not just writing a book. We are giving a voice to something that deeply matters to them. We are helping little ones understand their world. We are helping parents start a hard conversation. We are filling a gap where there was once silence, and that is a beautiful, lasting kind of impact. To those readers, we are not just writing a book. We are giving a voice to something that deeply matters to them. And that's why niche books matter so much. These books are important for 3 powerful reasons. They help children feel seen. Kids who experience the topic firsthand feel less alone. They foster empathy. Kids who don't experience it themselves learn to understand and appreciate those who do. And they allow us to share what we love. As authors, we get to bring our own passions and experiences into stories that invite and encourage little ones to explore these niche topics further. Let me give you a beautiful example from my own life. When my oldest son was little, he had a deep, passionate love for vacuum cleaners. While most kids wanted to visit the toy aisle, he asked to visit the vacuum section. He knew the brand and model of every vacuum in the store before he even started preschool. And so I wrote The Impatient Little Vacuum. What I didn't know then was that there are thousands of little vacuum enthusiasts out there, thirsty for stories that say, you're not weird, you're not alone, your love and your passion matters. And that's what niche books do. Now, many often think very topic-specific books have to be non-fiction, where instead of diving into a story, the book is mostly teaching about a specific subject matter. But some of the most memorable niche books are stories that weave niche themes into fictional narratives, making them exciting and something to discover for even the youngest of readers. Let's take birds as an example. On the nonfiction side, we have books like The Backyard Birdwatching Book for Kids, a fun and interactive guide that helps children identify common backyard books. It's filled with real facts, photos, and simple activities to help young bird enthusiasts engage with the world around them. But the same niche topic can be explored in a fictional way as well. In Ricky's Birdhouse, for example, we follow a little boy named Ricky who loves watching the birds that visit his garden through all 4 seasons. He decides to build them a birdhouse, and the story gently weaves together curiosity, care, and the joy of observing birds. So yes, we can have a nonfiction book about birds, but we can also tie this into a fun and creative fiction story. Well, let's look at chess as another great example here. On the nonfiction side, we have the book Chess for Kids, a straightforward introduction designed to teach children the rules, strategies, and fundamentals of the game in 30 short, easy to follow lessons. So it's perfect for kids who are just getting started or want to improve their chess skills. But chess can come to life in fiction as well. In Chess, I Love It, I Love It, I Love It, for example, the story follows a group of kids in a school setting, blending themes like competition, teamwork, loyalty, and even a little magic, alongside fun chess facts. It turns the game into a backdrop for friendship, challenge, and discovery. So really, our niche topic can be educational, emotional, whimsical, or all of the above. As authors, we have the freedom to blend genres and styles to our heart's content. When trying to make sense of the literature world out there, it always helps me to try and group things into categories. So having looked at all sorts of niche-specific children's books, I have identified 5 helpful categories. So to help us get our own creative juices flowing, let's look at each, along with a few actual well-selling book examples that show just how meaningful these stories can be. The first niche category is all about health and wellness topics. These are incredibly valuable books that help children cope with health challenges they may experience firsthand, or help them understand what a sibling, classmate, or friend might be going through. In I Have Asthma, What Does That Mean? By Wendy Chan, children are gently walked through what asthma is, what it feels like, and how it can be managed. It gives kids both clarity and confidence, helping them see that asthma is not something to fear. It's something they can live with and understand. And all this is woven into a beautiful story. Another great example is Eating Gluten-Free with Emily by Bonnie Kruska. This book centers around a little girl navigating celiac disease. It gives voice to children who often feel excluded during snack time, parties, or meal times. It helps normalize the experience and empowers kids with language they can use to explain their needs to others. It's books like these that help little ones feel seen, supported, and informed. The second category is all about behavioral and emotional topics. This niche category includes books that address behaviors, habits, emotional regulation, or social dynamics. These stories can be wonderful tools for helping children name and navigate their feelings. The Invisible String by Patricia Karst, for example, gently introduces the idea that we are all connected to the people we love, even when we are apart. Whether it's separation anxiety, loss, or grief, this story offers comfort and reassurance in a way that young children can truly grasp. Or Polly and the Screen Time Overloads by Betsy Childs Howard, which addresses technology boundaries and healthy habits in a playful, non-preachy way. With more kids glued to screens than ever before, books like this help caregivers start meaningful conversations. And then there's The Not So Friendly Friend by Christina Furnival, which teaches children how to set healthy boundaries when friendships become tricky or even harmful. The third niche category is all about family and identity topics. These niche-specific books explore family structures, adoption, foster care, or identity-related topics. Books in this space validate kids' lived experiences while also teaching others to respond with empathy. Yes, I'm Adopted by Shirley Zinniger is a sweet rhyming story told from a child's perspective. It illustrates how adoption is ultimately rooted in love, while helping adopted children feel proud of their story. In Kids Need to Be Safe, a book for children in foster care by Julie Nelson, the foster care experience is explained in a reassuring, age-appropriate way in the form of a story. It helps children understand why they may be in a new home and what foster parents do. It's supportive, direct, and healing. These books aren't just helpful for the children going through these experiences. They also create understanding among classmates, caregivers, and educators. The fourth category is all about cultural and custom-based stories. This is where we celebrate food, language, family traditions, and heritage. These stories are such a gift to children within the culture and to children discovering it for the first time. The book I Love Boba by Katrina Leo, for example, is one of the first children's books to celebrate bubble tea in a bright, rhyming, joyful way. It gives kids of Asian heritage a reason to smile with recognition, and it introduces others to a beloved cultural favorite. Or The Big Buna Bash by Sarah C. Arnold, which tells the story of a young girl navigating cultural differences and celebrates her Ethiopian heritage through the traditional Buna coffee ceremony. It's both beautiful and empowering. And finally, the fifth category is all about unique hobbies and interests. These are niche stories inspired by the wonderfully specific things kids love, no matter how unexpected they might be. In The Little Gardener by Jen Girardi, for example, kids are introduced to gardening in a way that feels playful and empowering. It nurtures a child's love for plants, soil, seasons, and growth. And of course, The Impatient Little Vacuum, the story I wrote for my own son and for all the children out there who love vacuums. When I wrote it, I didn't know how many kids shared that interest. But since publishing it, I've heard from parents all over the world, grateful that their vacuum-loving little one finally had a story that reflected them. Each of these books started because an author saw a gap and chose to fill it. And so can you. Perhaps it's to support someone near and dear to your heart, like it was for my son and his love for vacuums. Or maybe it's something that lives in your own story, a topic that shaped your childhood, a passion you may have always had. Maybe it's a topic that you wish had existed when you were little, that someone had told you that your experience, your interest, your feelings mattered. That's how some of the most beautiful books are born. Here's the beautiful thing. If you have searched for a book like this, chances are so have others. And when we choose to write that story, we are not just filling a gap on a shelf. We are creating a bridge between one child's inner world and the words they didn't yet know they needed. And if that's the kind of story you are ready to write, one that fills a gap or speaks to something deeply personal, but you're not quite sure how to begin or how to turn it into a fully formed story, you don't have to figure it out alone. That's exactly why I have created Storywriter Lab. It's a gentle step-by-step writing journey designed specifically for us children's authors, one that helps you shape your thoughts, develop your structure, and bring your story to life in a way that feels true to you, so you can write a manuscript you're proud of. You bring the passion, and Storywriter Lab will help you shape it into a story that can live on bookshelves and in little hands. If that sounds like the kind of support you have been looking for, I'd love to welcome and support you inside Storywriter Lab, so I made sure to share the link in the description below. Whether we are writing about bubble tea, boundary-setting friends, or sensory-seeking sloths, our voice matters. Our idea matters, even if it only speaks to a few people. Because when we're writing a niche book, we are doing something extraordinary. We are making a child feel seen. We are giving a parent the words they couldn't find. And we are helping a teacher or therapist explain something big to someone small. So take that very specific thing you love or the thing you needed and give it a voice. There's a child out there who's been waiting for it, and I can't wait to see what you create. I hope you found this video really helpful and inspiring, and that it got your own creative juices flowing. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. It really encourages me to keep making free videos for you just like this one. Here's to writing about things that really make a difference. Bye!